Now, one of the issues that you will face and deal with and have to deal with when you become, and if you become governor of the state of Maryland, is the crime situation in Baltimore City and elsewhere, because it's not just in Baltimore City anymore. We have growing violence, murders, violent crimes. We have a police commissioner now who has his eye on a solution, and they're working at it. They had fewer murders a couple of weeks ago than they've had in many years. That's, you know, it's something, because that's the way it is. But when you become governor, what are you going to do about the growing violence in the streets, the number of repeat offenders? I mean, the guy that shot Sergeant McNeil a few weeks ago 11 times, he had gotten out. He was sentenced to 30 years. The judge suspended 15 of it, and then he served like 11 because he had good behavior and he earned credits. I mean, some people think if you're sentenced to 30 years, you should serve 30 years. Some people feel that if you commit a crime with a gun, it should be an automatic 5 years. If you shoot someone, it should be an automatic 10. And if you kill somebody, you should go away for the lifetime of your life. Anyway, how do you plan to deal with the crime situation in our area? Ron, you're first.
Well, thank you very much. It's something that I have worked on. One thing I did have was the residential substance abuse treatment program for the prison systems. It separated the drug culture. 80% of our prisoners, they're drug crimes. It separates them and it works with them separately. It gives and works with the other population of the prison separately. And you can deal with those issues. You're getting the gangs are being attended to. You get rid of the prison gangs. These plans have worked. There's federal grant money available for it that helps it. You know, I had these bills, and everyone thought this would really cut the recidivism rate, and suddenly the bills were dying. You know why? Because the Baltimore prison system came out very strongly against it, and now we know why. They were running that prison. The fact of the matter is we have to lower that recidivism rate, these repeat offenders. They get their GEDs, they learn, it follows them out and helps them get acclimated to a job. It sounds like I'm being kind of nice to these criminals. No. They don't have life, folks. They're going to get out sometime. But I agree with mandatory sentencing, and I think we need to do that because the judges are letting people out too early. And, you know, I sit in the State House, and I sit there and listen to people expunge records. Constantly there's a bill to expunge records. It comes from Delegate Kurt Anderson from the Baltimore City delegation, and they feel that these people are just becoming worse in prison. That's because our prison systems are not rehabilitory. They have to become rehabilitory. Even by force, they have to become that. We can't let people back out on the street unless they are rehabilitated. And the fact of the matter is you need these mandatory sentences, and I'm all for that, and I'm not for expunging records. As an employer, I want to know what somebody's record is before I hire them. They're saying if you were caught stealing, they're going to expunge that from your record. You think a jewelry store owner wants to hire someone with that? No way. Thank you.
Thank you so much. David.
No. Charles, you go around, don't you?
Oh, right, Charles. That's not exactly the way I've been doing it. I have a list here of how I've been doing it, David.
You want me to go first?
No, David, let me say this.
Usually you go around.
That on question 2, it was Ron, David, and Charles. Question 3, Charles, David, and Ron. Question 4 was David, Ron, and Charles. And question 5, I have Ron, David, and Charles.
All right, so I'll go first.
Okay. All right. First, you mean second?
Second, okay.
All right, is everyone clear?
All right.
All right.
As the county executive of Harford County, we're very proud of the fact that this year we are the safest county to live in the state of Maryland because we have a good plan and we have a good, and we've actually done it with our sheriff and our protective agency to make it that way. Our crime rate is below what it was until 1983. So we're very proud of that. As the mayor of the city of Harvard Grace, we turned our plan around, and that is the 4th safest city out of 157. So we actually have the experience to do it. What would I do as governor? We would appoint new judges who actually follow the law and make sure when people commit a crime, they're put in jail. We would eliminate the pardon, so once they get in, they don't come out. Because how many people that get out are the ones who commit the next crime? I saw that as mayor of Harvard continually. It was always people coming out. We need to say, you're sentenced, you're in, you're not coming out. Those are the 2 main things we need to do. And we also need to let the correctional people have control, and not a gang have control of what happens in our correctional facilities. And we make sure we do that in Harford County in our correctional facility, which we have to help provide assistance for. And we did build a new correctional facility there. So we have the experience to do it. And we can do it, and we will help the mayor here make sure it gets done.
Major.
There's no question that decreasing crime equates to enforcing laws. Everyone in here understands that. The loopholes that exist currently, we have to do something about those. I've had the experience of speaking with Sheriff Jenkins, Sheriff Little, Sheriff Jackson, many of the sheriffs across the state, from Prince George's County up to Frederick County down to the Eastern Shore, and they all tell me the same thing. First and foremost, we need a better partnership, defined role for the state troopers and how they work with county and city local officials, specifically sheriffs and policemen. That doesn't exist currently. A Lollar administration will address that head on. Secondly, we're going to have to clean up the Department of Corrections. It is a mess. There's more corruption and correction than you can say it 7 times. If you can say it 7 times in a row, we have to clean it up. We need a real plan for that. And we have to plan for that without throwing away millions of dollars in wasted plans and programs, or just, in my opinion, creating better criminals. It doesn't make sense, for example, to throw $100 million into the Baltimore City Corrections to build 100 more beds to put juveniles in house with adult criminals. Doesn't make sense. We can use that same money to help with rehab efforts for those youth offenders, to help them get on the right track. And then finally, very important piece, we need to bring opportunity back to Baltimore City and back to Maryland. We need to bring more jobs. In some areas of this city, unemployment's almost 33%. That hopelessness exists. Until we change the tax environment and bring jobs back and manufacturing jobs back, you'll always have that hopelessness. We can fix the problem.
All right, so let's ask